but the system's overweight. They paint it white, yeah, but the stains.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
Selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap.
That one is said tobacco. Weird.
Lincoln MLK, now it's photo ops, power plays all day. I'm trapping for the vote. Yeah, Big Zeus. It's the people's
I don't know what that one was, ladies and gentlemen. It says something about a substance.
We knocking on the door, Zeus. We wanna hear your soul. Who you think they asking for? They asking for that smoke. People on them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke.
Hey.
Take it back and write the code.
Welcome back.
1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall. They staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told. I will never ever fold. Trapping out the West Wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true. All I need is a spark.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. We had to restart for some strange reason. This one, it wasn't the fake engagement. It was something about stuff you, whatever that is. All right, let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. We don't got much time. You know what I mean? Oh, my goodness. Let's get this show started. Mary, good morning. Nice to see you. All right, looking gorgeous as usual. Yeah, fake reports. And you know, that's what happens when you got a bunch of people out here that are, you know what we call them? You know, they are Zeus haters, but it's okay.
It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks.
I'm like the Terminator screaming, I'll be back.
It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class. It's like
every week I gotta take out the jams a ride. Good morning.
My game ahead of class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the game so raw, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room screaming
how we made it. This is how it's supposed to happen when you're rich and famous. The algorithm turned me to a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my Zodiac.
I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Franklin is my bestie. And if they is my ex, that mean they left me.
Hey.
They don't get replies if they text me. I say it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited.
Hey. Good morning, Heaven. Here goes my favorite part. Here goes.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days.
Really? Okay.
Radical.
Oh, it's radical.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
Oh.
It's like deja vu.
Oh.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
It hurts. It hurts. It really does. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome. I am your host. I'm your pilot. And you know, once again, while we are gathered, we obviously have more work to do to save this great country of ours from the evil clutches of guess who? Donald J. Trump and his legion of MAGA demons. All right. But before we get started with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take care of some very, very important housekeeping items. For those of you who don't know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? Well, it's quite simple. And you know what? And I'm starting to understand there's a lot that comes with being Triple H, especially out here on this platform, right? You got people coming after you, and you just have to say to yourself, all I'm doing is trying to save this country. When did you become un-American, right? And so what I'll say is this: the first H is because I'm honest, right? The most honest person on social media, hands down. The second H, well, it's because I'm humble. Listen, if I get it wrong, I honestly will apologize, because I don't think apologizing is a sign of weakness. I actually think it's a sign of strength. I know that, you know, you're a human being on this earth. And one of the things you got to understand is humans do make mistakes, and a big human, someone that's very, you know, tapped in and understands who they truly are, they apologize. So I don't have a problem apologizing. But here's the thing. Just because your feelings are hurt, it does not mean I owe you an apology. Most likely, what? It means you need to sit your special behind down and do what? Listen to this special broadcast. All right. And I'm being serious. All right. And then the last and the most important H of them all. And it's the one I probably use too much and I shouldn't, but I use it anyway. It's because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. Good morning, Zena. Good morning, everyone. Now, many of you are very, very familiar with what we do over here on this side of town, on this side of TikTok. What we do is incredible. What we do is spectacular. It's theatrical. It's magical. We hold Donald Trump and his legion of Trump supporters, or you know what they are? Cult members. We hold them accountable for their, you know what, I gotta call it what it is. These are war crimes, what they're doing. These are war crimes, what they're doing. What these folks have done to this great country of ours, I would classify them, if I could, war crimes. These folks sat here and watched this guy right behind me. It's unforgivable. And I'm never gonna, there's two things I'll never forget that Donald Trump did. This is when I said all bets are off, right? Because there was a period when he was first elected where I was like, all right, we're going to give him a shot. But after I saw what he did during C-19 and he got on national television, you know, he had Dr. Fauci and Deborah Birx right there. And he said, you know, and there's something that we can do. And I was thinking about this. We can perhaps hit the body with some light and then inject it with disinfectant. I said, that's, and this is after, I believe, Herman Cain lost his life. I said, so he's literally trying to unalive his followers. After that, I said, that's just strike one. And then strike two, obviously, was January 6th, when he lured his cult members to the Capitol. And you know what he did that day. You know, you saw him climbing all over the Capitol like it was a video game. I've played Donkey Kong, but I've played Donkey Kong before. But what I saw, it was something similar to Donkey Kong, but it wasn't quite Donkey Kong, right? After that, I said, all bets are off. This guy is dangerous, right? So what I do is we highlight how important it is for people to be independent and free thinkers by illustrating how MAGA, they're just in a cult and they blindly follow this guy, even to their own destruction. So I'll say this. Do we have any Trump supporters out there? Anyone out there still supporting Donald Trump? Yes, I already know this big, nasty bill. It's called the Big, Beautiful Bill. And the funny thing about the Big, Beautiful Bill is it's ugly. He calls it the Big, Beautiful Bill, but it's not beautiful, right? And so are there any Trump supporters out there? Because I want to make sure I give you the opportunity of a lifetime. Good morning. W in the chat for Isaiah Martin right there. That's a hero right here. This is a real legend out there. Nice to see you, champ. I like the work you do, too. Because Isaiah's really going to do what he needs to do to save this country, too. But I'll say this. If you are a Trump supporter, do me a huge favor and leave this live right now, because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable for you. I promise you it will. It will. It will. But get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome have officially closed. And I just want to say this. I take no responsibility for the sparks that are about to start flying, because unlike a lot of people, I actually have a show to do. And this means I got to really drill down deep inside of the layers of the cult in order to prove the point. So W Zeus. Now, yeah, we're going to talk about this big, beautiful bill, because honestly, I think it's time for us to actually start unpacking what's about to happen in the United States of America. And initially, I was going to go through some of this and say, oh, you know, the big, beautiful bill, it's going to do this, it's going to harm you. But I think, you know, we see these people in Congress, people like Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, Bernie Sanders, and all the other Democrats out there. You know, they've done an outstanding job warning Americans all over the country how this big, beautiful bill is going to do something very, very nasty. And so what I decided to do is I wanted to make sure I check in with MAGA right now, because I understand what's happening in MAGA's mind, ladies and gentlemen. And people say, well, Zeus, why do you talk to these people? It's because I want to see the will of MAGA do like this. You see it, you know, and we're going to make the will of MAGA snap like a twig. Pow, right? And then, you know, the pieces start flying. It has to snap so that they will understand they made a serious and a very bad mistake. W's in the chat for Rick, all right? So, what I want to do is I need to make myself feel good a little bit, right? You know, I used to get in trouble when I was growing up. and I shouldn't tell you this because I'll probably get in trouble with my mom. But, you know, I used to do things as a child. And, you know, I would get in trouble. You know, back then there were things the parents could do they can't do now. But, you know, they did it. And you would get in trouble. And then you say, well, why am I in trouble, and why are you doing that as a form of punishment? And they would say, oh, no, I'm just doing this to make myself feel good, but because I know you're going to mess up again, but you got to get punished. Now go stand in the corner or sit in the corner because that makes me feel good, right? So W to the parents. So MAGA's thing is they just want to own the libs. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. They don't think these people are in a cult. They just want to own the libs. As long as they feel like they can see Democrats squirming, they'll do it. They'll do it. Even if, right, Zena Smith, W's in the chat, even if it's at their own demise. Even if it's at their own demise. Now, what's really making MAGA sick right now, ladies and gentlemen, is this. It's folks like you, all of you wonderful Americans, you Democrats out there, who you haven't been really crying. You're still going about living your life despite all the things Donald Trump has done to try to get you triggered and worked up. You're still living your lives, right? And it's because you're like, well, I see the danger coming and I've gotten out of the way. So they're going, well, let's escalate things, right? So what I want to do, MAGA, is remind you that the joke's really on you. So how many of you all, and you know, I probably will get in trouble for playing this because they'll say, Zeus, you're race baiting. But how many of y'all remember this? How many of y'all remember this?
If you feel proud to be American,
remember this song?
Raise your hand. God bless America. God bless America.
Remember this song? Yeah. These are people, Latinos for Trump.
God bless America.
And I jam out to this. Sometimes I'm on my way to the gym. I didn't make the song.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
Remember y'all said this? You hear that?
I will vote. Raise your hand. Come on. For Donald Trump.
Asuka. Come on, do it. Where are my Latinos for Trump at? Yeah. Well, you know, you shouldn't do that. You should vote for Kamala Harris, right? She has a better policy. You should vote for her, right?
I will vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, remember all this? Remember this? All right, W, Zeus. Because what I just did was dog walk MAGA right there. And I didn't even have to say anything. That's y'all's music. The Democrats didn't create that song. But you know what? We know how to jam out to it, W, Zeus. And so what I'm doing is clever. I'm laying the foundation, MAGA, to understand why this big, beautiful bill is not going to do anything really to us Democrats, because we see the danger, we're getting out of the way. But what it's going to do, it's going to provide us with an unlimited, as far as I'm concerned, an unlimited stream of just, it's pure entertainment. It's pure entertainment at this point because you did it to yourself. So, you know, after they were dancing and singing this stuff for Donald Trump, look at what happened to America.
A wave of disappointment. One of President Donald Trump's most loyal voting blocs, Cuban and Venezuelan immigrants. Now speaking out in Miami, a Republican stronghold, as the recent wave of deportations hits home and the Trump administration moved to end temporary legal status, or TPS, for more than 500,000 people who arrived during the Biden administration. Elena Conde says she came here from Cuba on humanitarian parole in 2023.
So she got in under Biden. But y'all sat there and wanted to own the libs so bad that you couldn't see it was really you that's going to suffer. Your dear leader is making his own supporters suffer. And we Democrats, we don't have to live with any guilt or anything because we tried to stop it. We've been telling you don't do this, but you just gotta own the Dems. But you're not owning the Dems, you're owning yourself. Listen.
Her husband, Ariel Lara, crossed the border with Mexico twice. Once in 2019 when he was detained and deported, and then again in 2022. 6 weeks ago, he was taken into custody at his residency hearing.
So he was given an appointment to go to ICE. You told him before he left for that appointment, you don't have anything to worry about. You haven't done anything.
Instead, he was transferred to Texas, where we spoke to him from his detention center.
Ariel, ¿qué piensas sobre lo que está pasando ahora en este país, en este momento con respecto a las deportaciones? How do you feel about everything that's happening right now in this country with the deportations? You don't understand how this could happen. ¿Qué pensaba que iba a pasar cuando ganó Trump? What did you think was going to happen when Trump won?
Yeah.
You're saying you believed the president when he said he was going to deport criminals.
Now, Elena is left behind with her daughter, 7-month-old son, and Ariel's 70-year-old grandmother, who has been a U.S. citizen for years. Together, facing a reality they never imagined.
Wow.
Toda mi familia votó por Trump.
Your family voted for Trump, and I'm going to stop it there. I don't want to hear none of this crying. I don't want to see any crocodile tears, MAGA, at all. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Oh, I don't want families to be separated, but you did something wrong, whatever it was, and there has to be some sort of consequence. And you can't say, oh, well, it's the Democrats. No. You voted for this. Y'all voted for this. Just like y'all voted for this big, beautiful bill. I don't want to hear no crocodile tears. I don't want to hear none of your sob stories. No. Make America great. You gotta mandate. W. Zeus. Remember how we got here? Yeah, y'all make your own music for us. Thank you. Yeah. This is how we got here, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody together, okay?
Okay.
I need you loud, because I want to Trump. Hear that song, okay?
You gotta get the steps right too. Yeah, Ice. We over here, Ice, come and get us. That's what y'all did, W. Zeus. And again, I'm a little darker today because I'm very angry and upset that this big, beautiful bill passed. But I said, you know what? I gotta do this because I need some sort of relief, all right? And I need to get this off of my chest. You all are creating this content that I have the wonderful opportunity to just share it with you. Let's go on to the next MAGA story. And I posted a video about this, all right? But this is another Trump supporter who has been harmed by their dear leader, all right?
Meanwhile, an Iranian woman detained by federal agents, she and her family, all supporters of President Trump, see the MAGA hats. President Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live for us in Diamond Bar. And Matthew, those Trump flags staying up tonight.
Yeah. Keep them up.
Yeah, those flags staying up. This family still supports Donald Trump despite their mom being detained. The final moments home for an Iranian woman detained by immigration agents. A mother Monday going inside to say bye to her 4 kids.
She came and kissed the kids and that was it. That's the last time I saw her.
A proud President Trump supporting family in Diamond Bar.
The election time was here. I had a full 3-4 flags out.
Even while their mom faces immigration questions. Has your opinion changed on this?
That's a good question.
No.
Somewhat it has. Just because I'm going through it. I was very selfish before. But what I see right now is, okay, there's a reason for it.
Arthur Sahakian's...
There's a reason Donald Trump has basically taken away one of the breadwinners in the house. Because, as a member in the cult, you got to make sacrifices. And sometimes those sacrifices, that means your wife and your children. I'm still going to fly my Trump flags and give the Democrats all these W's because this is, again, ladies and gentlemen, endless content that we get to sit back and laugh at. W. Zeus. That's one less Trump voter, if you ask me. So it's that kind of math that I'm trying to help MAGA understand. When this is all said and done, MAGA, I have no real worries about you because I sleep good at night knowing y'all did this to yourselves. And even in the midst of his wife, his boo thing, you call somebody your wife, that means you took the vow. You made an oath to this woman. I will till death do us part. You got children. I see the children there. And this man seems so heartless about Donald Trump taking his wife away from him that you also have to wonder, maybe, did he call ICE on his wife? W. Zeus.
Arpanay was born in Iran and moved to the United States when she was 3 as a refugee.
Yeah, she cashed the check, I believe it was less than $200, and this is all where it started.
Then, about 15 years ago, her green card was revoked over a conviction related to theft.
It's all misdemeanor stuff.
Arthur says they've been going through the legal process towards regaining citizenship with check-ins every 6 months or so.
She just went in April, and they said, okay, you're fine, have a good day. We'll see you back in September or October.
So she was doing, she wrote checks that really she couldn't cash years ago. But she's been obeying the law and going to her check-ins, and you mean Donald Trump still decided that she needs to leave this country? Yeah. And her husband is sitting back there going, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to still continue to fly these flags. And so again, MAGA, I talk to you and I say, who's really winning? Who's really winning? Yeah, I know. And I see folks in the chat right now getting triggered because they're saying, Zeus, you need to stop saying this. You need to stop telling these people this. You're being mean. But like I said at the top of the show,
if you're not happy here,
right,
then you can leave.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Yeah. So we got more stories, ladies and gentlemen. And you don't got to do anything, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to hit play and watch the MAGA demon that's inside of it. Because remember, I was telling you about the will of MAGA and it's snapping. We got another example of the will of MAGA snapping. Let's go.
A North Carolina man is at risk of being deported back to a country that he has not seen since he was a toddler. Augustine Gentile was targeted due to a 2020 misdemeanor, and the case was eventually closed in 2023. However, 3 months ago, after a trip abroad, Gentile returned to the U.S. only to have his green card and passport confiscated. So he was ordered to report to Customs and Border Protection in Raleigh last month. Gentile now was born in Argentina. His family moved to the U.S. in the mid-90s. His parents, who voted for President Donald Trump last November, say they feel betrayed by the administration. Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes joining us now. A lot to take in with this. Khalif, just your thoughts.
I mean, sometimes you get in situations that you think folks are, that don't apply to you, right? And so this is kind of like a buyer's remorse with the parents. I watched the video with them talk about it, and this is what you could see it in their eyes, the frustration. You could see how they were saying, well, wow, this isn't what I anticipated. When they were talking about immigration, I was assuming they were talking about people that were coming here illegally, not people that went through the legal process to bring people up to speed. Their son, even though he was born in another country, he was a green card holder. That means a legal permanent resident has went through the legal process to be in this country. And so typically you would think that's the type of people, if we're saying we need immigration reform, that we're not talking about. But what we are seeing is that it's not limited to people only committing crimes. It's some folks that are getting swooped up in this entire immigration bucket, and that's what I've talked about a number of times, that if we're saying that we want to ensure that we've got tighter immigration policies and tighter immigration rules and tighter immigration regulations, we're throwing all people that are coming here into one large bucket.
Thank you. So that's another W, Zeus. Again, MAGA. I don't want to see none of those crocodile tears. I don't want to hear you crying. W-Deb in the chat, W-Deb. I don't want to hear no crying. Because this big, beautiful bill, MAGA, I promise you, just like you hear these people crying right now and telling you, I regret my vote, meaning the will of MAGA has snapped like a twig, you will be doing the same thing. You're going to be crawling back, begging the Democrats to try to provide you some sort of relief. Because here's the thing, MAGA, and I see it like it's clear as day. They're going to try to get rid of all these immigrants in the country, and there's going to be all these jobs that need to get done. And so, folks like Tiny Tank Top, Tim, Snuggie, and all these losers on TikTok, right? I'm going to see y'all out there doing some back-breaking work and you thought you were barely making it now. You're going to be really struggling to make it, W Zeus, because we got out of the way. You didn't. You're going to need those jobs. And you won't be able to negotiate your pay either. You're going to have to take it and just say, I'm doing this because I want to be in the cult. And that's all you're going to do. But all these jobs that are going to be opening up, MAGA, you might as well get ready to stop using Medicaid because that's gone. And you're going to get out there and start doing some back-breaking work. And if you end up, passing out and perhaps crossing over peacefully into the afterlife, so be it, W. Zeus. I'm not doing it. All right, but maybe I was a little too harsh on
if you could say
on the Latinos for Trump, but I'm going to stick to that. But we're going to go and revisit some other Trump supporters who are also regretting their vote. Now, you all remember this story. When Elon got into office and you all were crying about waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. You remember when you said that? Remember, it's only been 6 months, but let's go back down memory lane, and I want this story to get on the record.
President Trump now, what would you say? If you could say anything to President Trump now, what would you say?
I expected better from you. I really did. I expected that you would do what was right and cut waste and fraud and all of those things that you promised us before we elected you in office, but you're not doing that. You're creating a disaster, and I don't know what America's going to look like if this continues.
Did you ever think that your job would be impacted in a Trump administration?
No, absolutely not.
Jennifer Piggott was abruptly fired from her job at the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service here in Parkersburg, West Virginia, along with 124 other probationary employees. She voted for Donald Trump and thought her government job would be safe.
But to cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me. It's what's the checking account look like, babe? We went through our list of items on our budget and said, what can we get rid of? And we've gotten rid of all of those things, including cable. I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
On top of losing her job, Jennifer is facing backlash from both Democrats and Republicans for speaking out. She's received death threats and more.
Our home's been egged. They've hacked my Instagram and posted horrible things about my deceased mother.
I don't want to hear no crocodile tears. I don't want to see no crying. Nope. I want you to take your medicine and go sit your special behinds down in somewhere. Don't look for help. No. Just go to your room and deal with the punishment. You were acting up, you got caught. Your dear leader did what he did to you. Don't come crying and talking about how unfair this is. And you went through your budget, and I was looking when we cut everything, and he still did. Nope. No. You had the same opportunity we all had last election cycle, and we talked until we were blue in the face, warning you, this guy's dangerous. He's a convicted felon. He's an essay. And y'all did that thing, we had DJ up here yesterday doing the exact same thing. Oh, making excuses for the inexcusable. All right, so another W for Big Zeus. Have you noticed I haven't even asked any Trump supporters to come up here anymore? Yeah, because I've already figured them out right now. And I've been trying to give them a little bit of a lifeline to at least apologize. But at this point, MAGA, I don't need you because I have an endless supply of pure gold. This is comedy gold. It's comedy gold. Every story, you don't hear how so-and-so Democrat did this to me and now I'm in pain. No, every story starts off the same. I voted for Donald Trump. I didn't get what I was expecting, and now my life is, and I can't even say it because it's TikTok and my mom is listening to me, but it's a bad word. It is that. Your life is that. W Zeus again. Let's go talk to, y'all want to check in with some veterans who voted for Donald Trump? Y'all want to check in with some veterans who voted for Donald Trump? Let's go ahead and get this going. This is a good one. This is a good one. I said, you know what? We're going to go ahead and go through this together, all right? Because MAGA, while this is queuing up, I am playing all of these videos and stories for you so that you can understand what's coming as a result of this big, beautiful bill, all right? You all will be telling similar stories. Your will will be broken.
Twice, but for President Trump, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Did you anticipate that this might happen or regret your vote at all?
No, I don't necessarily regret my vote. I think the options that we had on both sides were
both sides.
I think we could have had better choices on both sides. But for me, with what's going on here,
get it out.
My performance reviews all meets or exceeds. My boss was very happy with me finding work to do, even though if they didn't have something for me immediately. And with my particular job, between education, training, and compliance checks, we were able to recover far more revenue than the cost of keeping me employed.
So when you think about the premise of DOGE and that it's trying to root out fraud and wasteful spending, do you think that this approach will get to that with your particular job or your agency?
Well, I think with all large agencies, there's going to be some people who underperform, and I believe there is some fraud, waste, and abuse. But I don't think that they're doing a very good job of finding out exactly what needs to be cut. I think they're just taking like the chainsaw to it instead of doing some critical thinking and doing some investigations to see exactly what is good and what is bad. Just letting it all go instead.
Will this impact how you vote in the midterms?
We'll have to see what's going on. Yeah, it's going to impact how I vote in the midterms, yes.
In what way?
Well, I'm going to see exactly who's going to try to help fight for the workers, for veterans. I want the best for this country, no matter who's in charge.
You're going to be attending Trump's speech tomorrow night, I understand.
I got to stop him right there. Another huge W for Zeus. That's a Trump voter that voted for Trump 3 times and is a veteran who also went on to, guess where? That was a CNN. So he went and found CNN. You know how they're on TikTok and they go, oh, I don't watch CNN. You know, that's that, you know, what Donald Trump's called CNN. But for some strange reason, when Trump cut his water off, he found himself on CNN sitting next to Laura Coates. My performance reviews were stellar. We were getting all kinds of money coming in. I don't understand why I'm unemployed. Once again, it's their hypocrisy. It's their hypocrisy. MAGA, it's your hypocrisy. I'm what they call an active listener, all right? Some things y'all say to me, I know you're just saying it to throw me off of what I'm trying to do, right? But I'm paying attention and I go, oh, we're singing a completely different song, right? We're singing a completely different song because, around election time, y'all remember how y'all was doing it, right? Remember this? This is what y'all was doing during the election. Oh, yeah. Hey. What y'all was doing during the election. Oh yeah! Hey!
Oh my! Vote! I will vote! Repeat! Oh my God!
Hey! Come on, y'all!
I will vote!
Y'all know y'all was singing it. Where my Latinos for Trump at? W's is.
I will vote!
Song right here. I'm telling you, ever go to the gym? If you go to the gym and play this,
for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. I love my freedom.
The freedom, right?
I will vote.
It's an easy W for Zeus. It's an easy. This is an easy W, MAGA. And remember, y'all giving me this content by y'all voting for Donald Trump. So I don't even need you to come up here and debate me anymore. This is undebatable. This is undefeated. Should we do a little bit more, ladies and gentlemen? We got a little bit more. Let's do one more story about a Trump supporter, and then how they're crying about how their dear leader is harming them, and then we'll go to the audience because I do my monologue in the morning, and then I talk to regular Americans. But let's go ahead and get this on the record.
Trump's optimism right now are American farmers, and they are stuck.
Hold on.
But some folks who aren't feeling Trump's optimism right now are American farmers, and they are stuck in the middle of all of this.
Frank, who did you vote for president? Mr. Trump. Trump. Mr. Trump.
Oh.
If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump?
No way. Couldn't happen.
No.
You voted for President Trump. So now, in this moment, you say you're in a free fall. What is your message to him?
So I'm off the Trump train. Where I'm going for now is I got to protect my business.
Highlight a wheat farmer who says he's lost $400,000 since Trump took office.
I think there was a lot of people who voted for him that want to stay loyal to him, but it's going to get to the point where financially, if it's between supporting the president or losing your family farm.
You voted for the president?
Yes, I did.
And do you support these policies which might be hurting farmers like you?
Right now, we're the ones that are taking the hit.
And he's sort of backstabbing the main people who got him into office in the Midwest, and he just left us down.
They thought
Trump was gonna save them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, these are people who thought Donald Trump was going to save them and that they would, enter the golden age, only to find out, even if you own a farm, you're going to suffer too. And so, with that being said, another W for Big Zeus. Another W for Big Zeus. So, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter where you're from in America. One thing is crystal clear. If you voted for Donald Trump, you will be suffering. And you will not have anybody to blame, but guess who? Yourself, your hatred. You did this not because you read through his policies and listened to what he was saying on the campaign and looked at who he was in terms of his character, and you knew he'd been impeached twice and had been convicted of various things and found liable of various things. You didn't consider all of that when you went and cast your vote. What you did, and I got to give Tiny Tank Top Tom, I got to give him he's honest. Why'd you do it? Why did you vote for Donald Trump? And what is their answer? What is their answer when you ask them why they voted for Donald Trump? Because he wasn't a Democrat. That's it. Whatever they can do to feel like they're owning the libs, they're going to do it because that's what they're required to do in the cult. Even if it means they must suffer, they will do it. All right. And so the thing is, they don't think they will suffer, but then when they end up suffering, they wake up. They wake up. Right. And so what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll go to the audience, is this. I'm going to go ahead and warm up this lake of fire in just a second, right? Because I haven't sent anyone straight to hell this morning. But for all of you out there who voted for Donald Trump, I don't want to hear no crocodile tears. I don't want to see families separated, right? That's serious stuff. But all this, I work hard and I shouldn't get deported. I pay my taxes. No, I don't want to hear none of that. You came in illegally. Yes. You voted for Donald Trump. Yeah. You did it once, twice, three times. Yeah. You're a farmer too. Yeah. Oh, you don't like the Democrats, right? Oh, I hate them. All right. Do me a huge favor, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and warm up this lake of fire because hell, somebody has to go to hell. All right. And it's clearly not going to be me. And it's not the Democrats right now because we warned you. We tried to tell you the truth and say don't do it, but you did it anyway. So guess who's got to go to hell? You, MAGA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send these Trump supporters where they belong. Straight to hell!
Silence! You MAGA demon!
W Big Zeus, ladies and gentlemen. Now that concludes my monologue, and I really do hope MAGA understands what I was doing when I was playing. That it's not that I want to sit out here and just play clips all day and laugh. No, I'm sending a very, very clear message to you. After this big, beautiful pass, and a lot of you lose your health care, right? You end up going through divorces and stuff. I don't want to hear any crocodile tears because I'm going to remind you how we got here. You ignored it. You ignored us because of your hatred. You think the Democrats are your enemy. We're not your enemy. We're actually probably the one who really loves this great country of ours. We understand what happened when George Washington, helped to fight for our independence and all these other presidents prior to Donald Trump. We understand this was all about keeping the union, together. And you went and decided you didn't want to be, in the United States. You just wanted to follow Donald Trump. You wanted a dear leader. All right, you got it. All right, WB. All right, put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter. And I will bring you up. Hot Cheetos, stop it. Hot Cheetos, you can send me a guest request and try to convince me that you're happy, but I know you're not happy because if Trump supporters were really happy, and again, when you're really happy about a product, right, whether it's a nice vehicle, it could be some electronic, when people are really genuinely happy about things, you can't stop them from talking about it. That's human nature. And I don't hear MAGA bragging and talking about Donald Trump like they were, during the election cycle. Oh, we hate Joe Biden. We hate Joe Biden. Oh, we can't have Kamala. Oh, once Trump won the election. Oh, look at this peace and prosperity. We're going to not look weak anymore. Blah, 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 blah. We're all going to be prospering. But are they prospering? Nope. MAGA is not prospering. I just played you. I got so many more. I got so much content of Trump voters literally boohoo crying that I could just sit here and do this for 24 hours straight the rest of the year. And I said, they don't see this stuff, and maybe this is why they don't think. This is why a lot of you think we're, you call us Democrats or independents. It doesn't matter. You think that we're making things up. Where is he getting this from, Zeus? You have a script from the DNC, and I don't have a script for the DNC. I don't work for the DNC, but I'll say this. If the DNC is listening and they're looking at what's going on, they probably should come take notes and check in with Big Zeus because what we're doing is simple. We got the recipe. I know these Trump supporters have nothing but hatred in their hearts. They go to these so-called churches and they worship the devil, and then they get out here on the internet and act real tough and bad. And then guess what we see? Oh, 2 weeks later, they're crying. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the box and talk to some wonderful people out here. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, the beautiful Jim. How are you? Good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. As you were speaking about the Latinos for Trump and their ideology about believing that their proximity to this old rich white man, who by the way is a convicted felon and adjudicated SAer, whose multiple charities have also been held accountable to the millions. It made me think of like the moments on a farm when a snake gets in the chicken coop, right?
Yeah.
What does the snake do when it gets in the chicken coop?
Well, I've never seen that, but I would imagine it's going in there to do some serious damage to those chickens.
Right? It's going to eat those eggs. It's going to go for the eggs first and foremost because that's the easy thing to do, right?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
The farmer has a choice at that point, right? To either remove the snake and let it go or take its head off like most farmers do.
Yeah.
Because it's going to eat the babies. It's going to eat the actual chickens or the eggs that they're going to use to feed their family, correct?
Yeah.
So does the farmer think to themselves, you know what? I have a snake in my chicken coop. So in order to get rid of this snake, I'm going to let a fox in. Right? I'm going to let a fox in and the fox will get the snake. Is that the mentality that I hear when thinking of a Trump supporter? Absolutely. Let's bring a fox into the hen house. So not only can he not eat the snake, he can then also get rid of the hens. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see it.
That's literally what we're witnessing in our society, Zeus.
Yeah. It's backwards logic, right? And it just shows you are they really trying to be successful farmers at this point, right? When you do stuff like that, they're sitting here championing a bill just to get a victory. Do you think these folks are going to end up really, really feeling good after this pass, Jim? Honestly,
oh no. I mean, we're already seeing the ramifications, right? I mean, I literally saw a news report yesterday of them talking about what's still happening 10 months later after Hurricane Helene in North Carolina.
Wow.
So what happened? Didn't Donald Trump blame Joe Biden for that? Joe Biden, who literally sent in the National Guard to help them, who literally signed the approval of that money, asked Congress to come back into session to increase the amount of money for FEMA to help North Carolinians, to help Florida, to help Kentucky, to help all the people impacted by that. And then what happened? 10 months later, they are living in absolute squalor. Nothing is fixed. He planted the seeds of doubt when Biden was still in office, and he has continued to not help people and then turned around and cut FEMA support. Wow. So for all of you in here going like conservative Democrat, how you literally are in here saying the most ridiculous stuff that you don't regret your vote, believe me when I tell you, karma does not forget an address, and she will be knocking on your door.
Boom.
And you're gonna feel it like every other American.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel it like the Democrats. You're gonna feel it like the Green Party. You're gonna feel it like those who sat on their couches and their laurels and failed to get out and vote at all. You're gonna feel it like you're a migrant. You're gonna feel it like you're BIPOC. You're gonna feel it.
You're gonna feel it.
You're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
And when you feel it, believe me, you're not gonna be writing in some chat room like a little coward talking about how you don't regret your vote. What you're gonna do is look in the mirror and go, I did that.
Yeah.
I voted for a convicted felon, an adjudicated sexual assaulter. I voted for a 6 times bankrupted fool, a tax evader who's in bed with all of America's enemies so that I could, quote unquote, harm other people. That's what you're going to own while you're looking in the mirror. And when it knocks on your door and she literally stamps every bit of the atrocities you committed, you are going to have to live with that. And so are your children and your children's children, because the sins of the father weigh heavy on the children. And none of you Republicans had the power of discernment at all to know that you were literally putting the fox in the hen house to eat your chickens.
Wow.
You weren't even strong enough to be the freaking roosters to protect your hen house. No, what you did was run in the other direction while the fox destroyed its entire hen house. You guys are cowards.
Yeah.
You were tiny little men who failed to protect democracy, your families, your jobs, your children, your finances, or your future. You did that. So you can sit in a comment section on a live with a very well-known Democrat hip-hop artist.
Thank you.
You can do that, but what you cannot do is stand up with pride of your vote, because you are weak.
You nuked him. You nuked him. I'm talking total annihilation. And again, I like how you pointed out that the damage that they're doing, it doesn't just stop with them. It trickles down, right? It trickles down to the children and the children's children. This is irreversible, right? Is what you're saying.
We're going to be feeling the effects of this. We've already dealt with the Trump administration's first realm for over 10 years. People don't realize that. It's been 10 years. So 2015, when he came down that escalator, and he was causing harm to the Obama administration before that.
Yeah.
Literally planting the seeds of doubt, literally attacking the media, literally attacking President Obama and Vice President Biden. So this has been going on for a decade already, people. That's why we're so exhausted. But now the damage that he and this, and let me be very clear, because I have said this for years. This isn't just about Donald Trump. This is about the entire Republican Party that all of you MAGAs voted for, that you put their little names in your states thinking they were going to protect you. No, they counted on you supporting them so they could steal from you and your children. They counted on your hate and your fear and your racism and bigotry, your misogyny, and your inability to love yourself more than the R next to your name, which now is an M. And it's an M for literally the most heinous things you can think of. Wow. Harming children, harming women, harming education, harming the economy. You literally voted to do that. And the ripple effect will be felt for generations, not just your children, but your children's children, because we will be at least 40 trillion in a deficit.
Wow.
To hand off to our children because of this man and the entire Republican Party, to include Congress and the judiciary that supported the illegality and not supporting the Constitution of the United States.
Wow.
You own all of that. And I'm going to tell you right now, until my last breath, I will never let a single MAGA supporter ever forget it. I will not welcome you back in. You better not knock on my door when you're hungry. I will not support you. I will not give you a ride to the store. You will not get my handouts. I will give every bit of what I have for democracy and to migrants and to support those who literally work hard to rebuild this nation. I will never forgive you for your vote. Never.
Never. Wow. W's in the chat for the beautiful, beautiful Jim. Well spoken. And you really left no meat on the bone. If they can think for themselves, they understood very clearly what you were saying. But I know that there's some out there who are fighting what you just said, but it's going to sink in short order. All right, Jim?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to make sure on my day off I came up and gave you all the love in the world. I cannot wait for this album. Every time I hear you play it at the end of your show, I'm super excited.
Wow, thank you.
I wish you so much success. Well, I listen to you every day. I just can't always come up. So
that's fair. Well, thank you so much. And again, it's going to be incredible, but it wouldn't have been possible without folks like yourself, holding me accountable to, getting out here and remaining committed to trying to save our country, our great country, because that's really what's important. But so it's going to bring blending of both worlds, so to speak. But thank you so much, Jim. You're such a beautiful person. I really do appreciate it. You guys, you can't make this up.
I do want to tell you this. One of the things that struck me the other day when you were talking about it was the importance of making sure that people understand that politics touches every aspect of our lives. So when you hear people in your life say, I don't want to talk about politics, I don't want to talk about religion, I don't want to talk about this, they don't want to talk about it because they're not being about it. And if you're not being about it, you're part of the problem. We as American citizens have a responsibility to stand up for all components of supporting the Constitution. That's how our laws are created. That is how our healthcare is provided. That is how our food is protected. All of that is about to be targeted.
Yep.
You are not going to see the same responsibilities happening where we are regulating food processes. People are going to get sick from that. People are going to get sick from water. People are not going to have access to healthcare. And for all of you who I have heard for days on end say, I'm not on Medicaid, this doesn't affect me. I'm not on SSI, this doesn't affect me. I'm not on Medicare, this doesn't affect me. I'm not on SNAP, this doesn't affect me. And why am I repeating it? Because I have heard it for weeks on end where you guys have all said that.
Yeah.
It does affect you. Because whenever a system is burdened by the additional weight, it causes a collapse. And when people cannot access healthcare, you who has a private healthcare system, your doctors still have to serve communities. And people are going to be harmed as well as you not having access. So you're going to have longer waiting periods. You're going to not be able to access healthcare, dental care, vision appointments. You aren't going to have food lines that are going to be short and sweet. They're going to be longer and longer. Stores are going to start going under. Hospitals are going to be disappearing. You have impacted the entire system by allowing this corruption into the White House and into Congress. And if you are not calling your Congress, it's too late now, this bill's passed. But if you had not done that, you also have to live with that regret that you sat on that moment in time and failed to voice your vote, voice your disgrace of what these people have done. I want to make sure you understand that an equal branch of government who could have prevented this allowed the Trump administration to harm the entire country and our allies.
Wow. And that's plainly put. And if you don't understand what Jim is saying, then clearly you're in a cult. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give the beautiful, beautiful Jim a huge, huge round of applause. No lies detected. All right, Jim. Well, listen,
I'm going to jump in this. I want one reminder. Before this bill kicks in, I hope all of y'all are making appointments for your mammograms, your colonoscopies, your dental appointments, your blood draws. I hope you're making an appointment now, because if you haven't, you're not going to be able to access it in a year, 2 years, or 3 years. And that, after watching what we had to go through COVID, we had to wait for a long time. So make your appointments now, take care of your kids, get vaccinations while they're available, follow medical providers so that you're getting information that you need. And please understand that in 2026, we all need to collaborate and fight to take our country back, full stop.
Thank you.
We the people, for the people. I love you all. Stay safe and vote.
Amen. W, Jim. I mean, what a breath of fresh air, ladies and gentlemen. And these are just people who love their great country. And this is why shows like this are needed. It's not because, we all are bored and we just want to get on TikTok because, they make up stories. Oh, Zeus, you're doing this and that just to get it. No. I was a made person before I got on TikTok. Quiet as it is kept, W, Zeus. But when you see the country going in a direction, you have to start thinking to yourself, am I doing all that I can? And again, sometimes I want to do things, but I also understand this is about numbers. You have to be able to actually reach people where they're at. And so that's what this show is for. We're reaching people where they're at, and we're trying to encourage them to actually engage in the politics so that they understand what's going on. And Jim, you brought up a very, very good point. They don't want to engage in politics because they don't know where to start, right? So hopefully listening to a show like this, or perhaps maybe when I drop this album, they'll wake up. All right, let's go on to the next panelist. Let's go on to my next panelist. Who do we got? Who is this? Black man for life. How are you doing? Well, I don't know what that is. We'll move on to the next one. Let's go ahead and move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me bring up my good friend, Val. Good morning. How are you doing, Val?
How's it going?
I'm all right. How about you?
Good. Don't know how much more I have to say after Jim, but
yeah, well, she totally took the cake, right? She laid it down like a carpenter, if you ask me.
She did. It was impressive.
Yeah.
And we spend a lot of time on here arguing with people about back and forth about what's going on in the country.
Correct.
And with MAGA, it's always the same thing, right? They want to go back to the past, right? They want to talk about Joe Biden. They want to talk about Obama. They want to talk about everything but Trump. and there's a reason for that. They don't want to talk about current events because current events are embarrassing. That is, you know what I'm saying? That is where they're at right now. They do not want to talk about the current events because the current events are going to hurt. And what Jim said is absolutely true.
Yeah.
What's happening right now is going to affect this country for decades.
Wow.
Not a year, not 2 years, decades. It is going to affect our children. It is going to affect our children's children, just like she said. And it's going to, you know what I'm saying? And it's going to leave them with a burden. And it's not just going to be any burden. There's going to be pain felt along the way. And for everybody that voted for this down below, and you know what I'm saying, and doesn't want to talk about current events that are happening today, the things like how this immigration process that he's put together is actually going to hurt this country. It's going to cost us more in the end. It's going to lose jobs. How their plans and what looks like plans to actually reduce the population of our country. And, these are things that people in his administration have talked about. They've had one talk about there shouldn't be no more than 100,000 people in this, or 100 million people in this country, and they all should look like me. These are the comments that are being made that people should pay attention to.
Yeah.
People need to pay attention to what the Heritage Foundation is putting in place, what they're really trying to create. They're trying to create a ultra right-wing religious culture in this country.
Yeah.
And there was a country that tried to do this once before, and y'all don't want to talk about it. Y'all don't want to talk about the real history when this happened last.
And it's going to happen here, and they're going to end up getting the same outcome, right? I mean, because that's how these things always end.
Same outcome.
Yeah, yeah. Nick, can you name any cults that ended with all kinds of roses and flowers? Is that how cults usually end up?
No, cults usually end up bad. They usually end up with somebody, and not to be too graphic about it, but they usually end up with women and children and people unalived in holes because of fire.
Yeah.
And that's a reality. And if people don't understand that, go back to late 1930s Germany. And if you don't understand, if that's too far back for you.
Yeah.
Just go back to Waco. Waco, Texas. Okay?
I remember that. Yeah.
If you want to see how that ended, you'll understand why I made the statement I made.
Yeah.
And these are how these, you know what I'm saying? These are how these things usually end up. This is not a movement to help America. I heard somebody try to explain this yesterday, that their thinking on it well, at least there's changes made and eventually these changes will help America. No, they won't. Okay. At least somebody's trying to make a change. No, because we're so stuck in the norms. This was the word that they used. We're so stuck in the norms. We need to make changes that'll shake up America.
Wow.
And he tried to explain it off as there's shakeups. There's shakeups all the time in countries.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about shakeups all the time in countries. Ask Caesar in Rome how that worked out. Okay. Ask Germany how that worked out. Ask, if you can meet people or actually talk to people from North Korea, ask them how that worked.
Yeah. Wow. Those are valid points, Val. But and as I'm starting to think through this, right, and that these things aren't going to end up, they're not going to work out good for the people at the end of the day. It never does. Are there any words of encouragement that you have for these people, or is it pretty much a done deal in your world? How are you feeling on that note? Right, because
Look, I mean, like Obama said, we have to make room. Right? You know what I'm saying? For people that are that for people that are going to wake up. That, you know what I'm saying? I firmly believe in that. We have to make room. That's why I'm so patient, you know what I'm saying, the way I am. But there is people that just can't be helped. I mean, a lot of this came from not handling what we had under the soil. Okay? You look at the grass up top, but you don't see the poison in the soil. This is a reason we go out and we turn our soil and farms and, you know what I'm saying, and do these things. We do these things to release the poison.
Yeah.
Well, what happened in this case is we kept the poison buried, and the poison just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And then somebody came up that wanted to till the soil. What he really wanted to do was take the soil, flip it over, so the poison can grow even more. And that is what we're dealing with. We're unaliving the grass.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So his own supporters, they're gonna suffer. This is where we're getting to, man. They're going to suffer, and they're going to suffer pretty bad. There's going to be some crocodile tears and things like that. Do you feel bad if you see that happening? You know, or do you think that you know what they just got to deal with their consequences? Because to me, you know, we've done this, like I've been saying, for such a long time.
Right, yeah. I mean,
and they just want to own you. They want to own me. And so they don't understand that owning you and I, like right now, you're doing, you know, we've been impacted. We're still spending a lot of money. But
do I feel bad is a tricky question, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do I feel bad? This is what I feel bad for. And I'm going to use Texas as an example.
Okay.
Back in the 19, you know what I'm saying? Back in the 1980s through the 1990s, we had a governor named Ann Richards in the state of Texas. That was our last Democratic governor in the state of Texas. In the state of Texas, which was growing mightily at the time, we had the 7th best education program in the country in the state of Texas under Ann Richards. Okay?
Yeah.
We are now setting as the 42nd education after 38, you know what I'm saying, after 30 plus years of Republican rule in this country or in this state. Now we're at 42nd in education. We're one of the worst states in education. What I feel bad for is how Republican rule and how people have fallen for the hate rather than the help. The wrong H, guys.
Yeah.
No, falling for the hate, not the help.
Sick.
We have to help everybody in this country to educate them on what, you know what I'm saying, on what life is really supposed to look like here. And we've lost that ability.
Yeah. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. I do see the link between, you know, education and, you know, which party you tend to vote for. And, you know, you got to ask yourself, are these people that are voting for Trump, are they really that undereducated? Because, you know, you could be overeducated, but a lot of this seems like a lot of people are just simply undereducated, and they lack the ability to connect the dots and understand that there's going to be serious, harmful consequences.
Let's look at the numbers, right? The numbers, you know what I'm saying? I'm a numbers guy. And numbers and stats mean it. You know what I'm saying? Numbers and stats mean everything. In this country right now, if only people with a 2-year college degree voted and up, there'd never be another Republican person in office. Okay, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of that. You know what I'm saying? I believe good ideas come from both sides and we should listen.
Correct.
But the thing is right now is when those ideas move so far right, so far towards the fascist end of the political spectrum, we've lost our way. You know, and that's the thing. People try to use buzzwords like socialism, communism, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. We had a president stand up on stage the other day and go, we are no longer going to be a socialist country. We're not going to try to do social programs. We don't have social programs here. While he's sitting in the country with the largest socialist program in the world. For people that don't know what that is, it is referred to as the U.S. military.
Oh.
That is the largest socialist program in the entire world. And the reason people don't understand that is because they use these buzzwords but do not understand the meanings of them. We're a country that was based on having industry and social programs all in one shot.
Wow.
It's the reason that the preamble of this country says responsible for the welfare of the people.
Yeah.
We have both.
Yeah.
They're not giveaways, people.
Listen,
people are born with disabilities. People go through life and have things happen they don't have any control over. But to say that we're just going to push them off a cliff, like one of Donald Trump's big supporters did.
Yep.
Okay. To say
no lies detected.
Okay, yeah. To say that's okay is the problem. To say that we're going to take a country built of immigrants, people, okay, and get rid of all the immigrants?
Sick.
I don't think you understand the words that just came out of your mouth.
These some evil people. I can't believe that these people really think they're helping America, Val. But you know what? We're gonna. I'm looking forward to it. I played a lot of those clips of Trump supporters regretting their vote, and I say, if you regretted the vote before the big beautiful bill, you're in deep trouble.
Oh, exactly right.
You're deep trouble.
Right. The big beautiful bill. This is a big nightmare. This is going to be a nightmare that is going to cause another stock market.
Oh, I will vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be a bill that industry is not going to be a big fan of. Now, your ultra millionaires and billionaires and your corporate greed, people like insurance companies, and people like that, they're going to love this. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you right now, industry as a whole, small business as a whole, is not going to fare well with this kind of bill.
Not at all. Not at all.
In the taxation that is going to be put on the lower and middle class because of this bill, and most of it to take effect between 2027 and 2028. I wonder if there's a reason behind that.
Oh, they're going to try to make the person in charge look bad, whoever it is, right?
Right. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if there's a reason behind that.
Because they know it.
And my hope is that, when this ain't a matter of if anymore, it's a matter of when Democrats take back control Congress, they revisit this immediately.
Yeah.
And unload it.
Yeah, we're going to make sure
Congress has that power.
But you know what, Val? I'll say this, and then we got to, move on. If the Democrats end up back in power, you know what they should do? They're going to have to say, did you vote for Donald Trump? Then you stick to the Trump plan. Because we're going to do something different. And you know what? Let that be it. Because these people, they just need to suffer for a little bit longer, if you ask me. But that's my own thing. All right.
That's a legitimate thing. I think that's the wrong way to go because I like Americans. I would like to see a day that Americans come back together. I'm not saying left and right. I'm saying Americans.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I would like to see a day that they come back together.
Well, I could compromise, all right. Compromise, all right. But I want to check them. Did you vote for Trump 3 times? Yeah.
Oh no, those people are lost.
But to your point, there's something to trying to keep the country united. I get that, but just there's a part of me inside that says, oh, you voted for him 3 times? Yeah, you stick to the big beautiful bill. All right, let that do what it does for you. All right, we're gonna work on something else that delivers real results and is more American, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Well, listen, I gotta move it on, but as always, it's a pleasure to check in with you. If I don't get to talk to you later, have a wonderful, holiday, 4th of July. If you're into that.
Have a good holiday.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. W Val in the chat. No lies detected. See, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is a show of force. People ask me, well, Zeus, do you spread hate on your platform? No, I don't spread hate. I spread love. But I do understand that there are a certain group of individuals who are listening to this special broadcast, and they're not following and they're not focusing on what's really going on. They're doing something disgusting and they're trying to make it into something that it's not. Or there's others out here who are just simply, they're getting triggered by the content. And I've always said this. Do I force you all to be here every morning? Do I force you? Do we all force each other to be here every morning and do this? I don't force any of you to be here. I'm not a cult leader, but they act like I do. So what I'll say is this.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too.
Thank you.
But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Thank you. What we're doing is we're trying to save those who are sick. The physician has to go out and heal the sick. They're not going out here to heal the people that are already doing healthy. No, I understand there are a lot of folks out here. W's in the chat for Kabira. All right. I understand there are a lot of people who are sick right now, and it could be for various reasons, right? And what we're trying to do is encourage people to believe in something better and work towards doing things that are actually going to make them genuinely feel good when they're done. But we're running into this situation, especially with MAGA, where these folks don't realize they're the sickest of them all. They're the sickest people of them all. When your identity has been erased, like in Men in Black, Will Smith had that thing and then erased. Their identity has been completely erased, and it's been replaced with Donald Trump. It's been replaced with Trumpism. All right. And so what do you got to do to get a date? Well, I got to put on this red hat. What do you got to do to get a job? Well, I got to put on this red hat. What do you got to do to, cut the grass? I got to put on this red hat. These people can't think for themselves. What do you got to do? I got to support this big, disgusting bill. What do you got to do? I got to support being deported, even if it's my wife. You're sick. Y'all are some sick individuals. And I say it in a joking way, but I'm dead serious. A lot of y'all are prime candidates for hell. Hell will be your portion, I promise you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Let's go along and move it along. Oh, my goodness. Let's see something. Let me see something. Oh, my goodness. Let's go. Who do we got next, ladies and gentlemen? Who do we got? I'll go Nutty. Nutty, there's an echo.
I will vote for Donald Trump.
Can you hear me?
What's going on, brother?
Can you hear me? There's an echo.
I can hear you.
There's an echo.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll drop and come right back.
All righty then. He's out there in somewhere, part of, I don't know where he's at. All righty then. Let me go do this, ladies and gentlemen. All righty then. All right. Good morning, Nutty. I think
is this better, sir?
That is a lot better. Thank you for straightening that out. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. So, first of all, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing great. And you?
Doing great. I just want to give the kingdom a reminder. We've been slipping the last few days. Please remember that our goal every single live is no less than 500,000 likes. Please hit that daily heart me up there and then go back and hit claim. So with that being said, since all of you wanted to, all of you Hispanic brothers and sisters wanted to vote for Donald Trump, Zeus, you mentioned something very interesting in your monologue. You kept referencing crocodile tears. I would like to propose that we deport those crocodile tears to alligator Alcatraz.
Oh.
Let's deport those tears to alligator Alcatraz, because those of you who voted for Donald Trump, you're the ones that I want to see at alligator Alcatraz, because that's exactly what you voted for. So Zeus is different from a lot of us. Zeus wants to keep it clean. He wants to keep it calm. He wants to keep it classy. He wants to keep it so to give you room at the table. Well, you know what? You voted for it. You made that bed. Now it's time for you to lie in it. Do not reach your hand out to me, even though I am a self-proclaimed Christian.
Oh.
I am mandated to love you. I'm not mandated to like you, and I don't like you. And do not reach your hands out to me, because I will not reach my hand back to pull you up. I will walk away from you, and I will go find somebody who did not vote for this mess, for this chaos, and I will help them. And guess what? If they just so happen to be undocumented, then so be it.
So you
because
don't.
At the very least, they're human.
Wow.
So very
That's
quickly,
wild.
so-
That's wild, Nutty.
Yeah,
That's
no,
some
no,
dark.
but
That's pretty dark, Nutty. If you
no,
don't.
but it's true. It's true. It is absolutely true. So
y'all agree with Nutty out there? I'm trying to see
they
something.
agree. They agree. Absolutely. We talk about, the interview with Donald Trump at Alligator Alcatraz, where the reporter asked him about how long the detainees were going to be there, and he referenced himself.
Yeah.
I would like to propose, because he spoke about himself as though he was going to live at Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I am all in favor of it. In fact, let's put Mar-a-Lago there on that strip. He can stay out there, and guess what, MAGA? Y'all can go live with him. We will gift that land to you. We will then secede it from the United States, and it can be its own country.
But Nutty, let's be honest. There's alligators. I hear there's boas. You know what boas do? You know how boas eat? They do some. You really want to put that around Mar-a-Lago?
Yes. 100%.
You don't care about it looking cruel?
No. Because they voted for it.
Oh, well then that's fair, Nutty. These people voted for cruelty. I don't even want to call them people. These are creatures at this point.
So I know you can't see all of this, but there's this lady called Ultra MAGA Lady. She's complaining about the fact that she voted for Donald Trump because she did it because it was funny to piss the liberals off. And now she's talking about her Medicare and her Medicaid because she's on diabetic. She's got diabetes, and she's talking about her diabetic medicine.
I shouldn't be laughing. Sorry.
No, you should be laughing.
No, I shouldn't. This is
sad.
Yes,
you should. Well, if you're not going to laugh, I'm going to laugh for you. So, and she's crying that she needs urgent help. If y'all want to see her entire post, I tagged it on my page. Go look at it. You know what, ma'am? I hope you get every last thing you voted for, right down to your last glucose strip. I don't care about any of your medical needs because you voted for this, because you wanted to harm and hurt and own the libs. You didn't think about the people that it was going to affect. You just thought that it was going to affect others and not you. And now that it's on your doorstep, you need urgent help. The devil is a lie.
Nutty, please. I'm trying to be the bigger person, Nutty, but the way you're saying that, it's tearing me, all right? Because on one side, I do want to laugh, but this is serious, buddy. Don't you have any compassion, Nutty? Come on.
Well, Zeus, at the end of your show, you play Drill Baby Drill, right?
Yeah, and I do an outstanding job, right?
And
That's true.
I'm playing Laugh Baby Laugh. That's what I'm playing. That's what I will continue to play for the next 3.5 years, or for the next year, until the Democrats can get in the House and in the Senate and to try to stop some of this madness.
Wow.
I'm going to play Laugh Baby Laugh. And Jim hit the nail on the head. For you lazy bleepity bleeps that won't get off your derrieres to get your nasty behinds out to that polls, you are responsible for this too.
True.
Get your nasty behind, take a shower, and get to those voting booths, and you need to vote.
But
that's the only way we're going to stop this madness.
Well, Nutty, I don't know where you find the ability to tap into this darkness, but I do agree with you. I mean, we've gotten to a nasty situation because of a lot of that stuff you were just talking about. I don't really know what else I can say on top of that. I mean, I don't want to see anybody suffer, but then again, you know, the crocodile tears, I don't want to hear. You're saying this woman right here, especially MAGA Lady?
Yes, her name is Ultra MAGA Lady.
Okay, now when you put the ultra, it's one thing to just be MAGA lady, but then you throw the ultra in it. Okay, yeah. Now this is funny. All right, this is funny.
Her name is Ultra Maga Lady, and she, with her own admission, she voted for Trump because she thought it was funny to piss off the libs.
But
now I think it's funny that you're gonna lose your glucose strips.
I actually
owning the libs.
Yeah, well, I don't have any answers for this. I just can't believe they don't see this coming. I really don't. And then to actually have the courage to go on the internet and post stuff like this as if we don't see it for what it is, it's crazy.
Well, you know what, Zeus? So the reason there was an echo is because every single 4th of July, I volunteer for an organization that helps people get out of DV situations and gets them to safety.
Yeah.
So that's what I do for a whole entire week during the 4th of July, because we do a fireworks tent.
That's good, yes.
So even though I don't celebrate the 4th, I celebrate Juneteenth.
Okay.
It is important that we look at things like this. And the reason I'm out here is because DV is still real. We still have to deal with people putting their hands on other people.
Yeah.
It's not right. And we're going to stand up for we're going to speak out against it.
Thank you. Good.
And if Ultra MAGA Lady was in a DV situation, then I would reach out my hands to her, because it's still not right. But as far as her glucose strips are concerned, suffer.
Nutty, stop making me laugh about stuff, because both of those are serious situations, all right? And you're trying to make it, it's dark, but it's nutty. It's dark and nutty, and so I guess it's the nutty part that I'm laughing at, all right? I can get it.
Well, listen. I got to get back to the tent because we got customers in there.
Okay.
But listen, I appreciate you. I'm going to continue speaking truth to power. Jim, love coming in behind you, because listen, you give the truth like it's never been given. I love the fact that you just let it flow. She doesn't have to rehearse. She has it. I love
natural.
Her.
She's natural.
She is a natural.
Yeah,
she
naturally into it. Yeah. All
Val,
right.
love you. Zeus, keep it up, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Nutty a huge. He did a good job today. Usually the Antifa demon gets in him, and he goes darker, but Nutty did a good job. Again, another round of applause. All righty then. Don't worry, we're gonna try to get through as many voices as I can today, and then wrap things up, because I want us all to go through this together and just kind of, we're only in the first quarter, I say, and we got 4 more quarters, so we don't want to burn out. Good morning, Kabira. How are you doing?
Good morning, Zeus. How are you?
I am doing a lot better now that you're here. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Well, let's give Kabira a huge round of applause. We've been through a lot already, haven't we?
We sure have. Zeus, I'm only going to take a minute. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Really?
About maybe 3 weeks ago, I was coming back from Home Depot, and you gave such a good monologue, but I was driving, so I couldn't respond, but you had me cracking up. Well, this morning, Zeus, you had me on my knees, and I don't mean on my knees that way. You had me on my knees cracking up with your opening monologue.
Yeah.
I want to thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. And Nutty, you forgot the Ultra MAGA lady, her diabetes medicine is because she might go blind.
Oh.
So the only thing I could suggest for her is to get a cane and a seeing eye dog.
Oh, you went and got her again. You doubled back. Oh my gosh.
And since seeing eye dogs costs money, she might have to go to a doggy shelter and hope she can train it.
Oh.
So that's the best offer I can. That's the best advice I can give. But Zeus, please keep up the good work.
You're welcome. Thank you. You too. So wait a second. You don't feel sorry for her, Kabira? Because that's kind of.
I'm not. Why would I feel sorry? Listen, Zeus. Why would I feel sorry for you if you playing on a train track? Inside a tunnel, you think it's the light from the other end of the tunnel, but it's a train coming straight for you.
Ooh.
No, you put yourself there. I don't feel sorry for you. You get everything you got coming to you. I can be cruel, believe you me. I think like a nice lady, but I could be very cruel.
Yeah, because that visual that you just gave me, I was like, "Whoa, that's there." So you see it for what it is too. They thought it was a light at the end of that tunnel, huh?
Yeah, I want to own the lib. She ended up owning herself. Yeah, like I said, get her a cane and a CNI dog, and I wish her luck. And as a matter of fact, go to Walgreens and get yourself some shades while you're at it.
Hey.
Can you really be legit?
Too legit to quit, like MC Hammer. Oh my God, yeah, it's the Trump train that's coming for them, and so.
Hey, the Trump train that's coming for them, that's plowing them over, and they're too stupid to see it. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
But as I said, I'm sitting back and I'm watching the train wreck. I'm trying to be prepared for myself.
Yeah.
My grandson is getting ready to move up to the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay.
So I was telling my daughter, I said, listen, make sure you make a copy of his birth certificate. And I told him, you keep it in your wallet with your ID, because, now they're picking up Haitians.
Yep.
Right? And Haitians look just like us. And those people are not forgiving. They just gonna grab you and snatch you. But hopefully, God willing, you got something. But that's all I wanted to say,
right.
Zeus. I want to thank you for your opening monologue.
You're welcome.
Perfect.
It was needed, right? Because again, I'm disappointed, to be quite honest, but I said they're going to give us all this content, and that's the silver lining in this. We're going to see
Hey. Your opening monologue was as good as Richard Pryor and Chris Rock rolled into one concert.
Hey, sounds good. There you go. I got to go check it, though. But
yeah, brother,
I take your word.
Sales, you need to start selling tickets to the Thunderdome, because, it was dynamite this morning. But anyway, I'm going to let you go because I know you have affairs to attend.
It's like you work here. Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, W. Kabir, she knows me very well. All righty then, sis. I'll keep it moving, but as always, and whatever you're doing, enjoy the break if you're into that. I know a lot of people don't celebrate the 4th, but if you do, have a safe one and keep up the wonderful work. All right.
All right, little brother, you take it easy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, W. Kabir in the chat. No lies detected. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we got. Oh, let's go. Okay, I got to check in with my good friend Meredith. Hello, Meredith. How are you? Oops, I'm sorry. I got Poetivity. We'll do you next, Meredith. Good morning, Poetivity. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing okay. I'm just a little puzzled about a few things.
Go ahead.
I'm puzzled why when MAGAs come up, they say that I'm not going to let a socialist or a communist run this country, but they don't even worry about the Schnazis. Like, why don't they ever say, I'm not going to let a Schnazi run this country? I'm just confused about that.
Oh, Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom DJ. Just put it in the chat. I don't think y'all need to come up here, but I would love you to answer. It's a simple question. I don't know how you came up with that, Poetivity, but I'm gonna let's let that sit right there for a quick second. He said he doesn't know what that is. He knows what it is. Now he wants to play. He wants to play crazy.
Yeah, everybody knows what it is, but they never say that. Like, I'm really worried about the Nazis taking power. Like, they never say that. It's always the socialists and communists, and they don't even know what those terms mean. I just find that weird. Yeah.
I'm looking right there. He doesn't even either. He's playing crazy or he's flat out crazy. Isn't that something? I didn't see DJ's here. DJ, do you have an answer for us, DJ? Because DJ is one of the bravest of the MAGAs. He says things and he thinks he's clever when he says it, but we see right through it. DJ, did DJ give us an answer, ladies and gentlemen? If so, please pin it in the chat. I want to make sure we get this on the record.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. The other thing is that, everybody's really upset about alligator Alcatraz. But, the thing is that I don't know what the bed limit is there. Do you?
No, I don't know it.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, that's a really good place for like 756 billionaires in this country. That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, they should go there and make it into a retreat or something, right? And just have a blast. Somebody said 5,000 beds. So they could
beds?
easily
Okay.
fit those people in there.
So yeah, we have a lot of Schnazis taking power all over our government right now, and that seems like a good place for them to me.
Yeah. Anybody want to go? We can help them get there. I'm not going to fund it, but I can, maybe help coordinate your transportation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just thinking that, it's unfortunate that history is written by those most willing to be violent. And what's odd to me is that they don't recognize that when a group of people goes after another group of people, like this administration is going after the undocumented, if the undocumented were truly as violent and dangerous as they say they are, there's no way they would be going after them.
Nope, because they would be afraid.
They'd be scared to death to mess with them. They'd tiptoe around them. It's like there's no group of people more violent than YT people because nobody goes after them.
You said that, and I must say, especially what's happened in Idaho these past couple of days, right? You're sitting there and you're going, "Did you heard the case yesterday? The Kohlberger dude? I don't even want to call him a human.
One that set up the fire and then was black.
No, that's a different one. That's a different one. But
oh my gosh, the
one that actually admitted he did. There was 4 victims in the college. And and I watched the judge and the prosecutor because he took the plea deal, and I said, "That's not even a human. That is a savage. This is not even an immigrant."
No, and it's when you look at the stats, that is the most dangerous group of people is YT males. And they never get classified as an entire T group. It's always just insane individuals. They never could lump everybody together and say, this is the group we need to watch. It's really odd to me that any of what's going on right now.
And you wouldn't have a problem with him being put in alligator Alcatraz, right?
Oh gosh, no, he belongs there.
Yeah.
I think all the Schnazis do.
Yeah.
They're the ones that should be disappearing out of our neighborhoods. We would all feel safer if they did.
Yeah. Ain't that something? But he didn't have the courage. And Trump never mentioned either of those. Did you notice that? He never mentioned any of these situations.
No. And
I see what it is.
And yet they stay and they take over and they mask up their faces and they're abducting people, and some of them are just pretending. You see some of these guys coming out acting all manly with their faces masked up, and they're 4'11", and they're these little wannabe macho men that are doing it. They're not real men, and they're just
betas. They're betas.
They're real violent a-holes. That's all they are.
Yeah. Wow. Trying to make up for everything else they come up short in. And we run across these people. These are some lowlifes. We run across them all the time. And all I can say is at this point, you've been exposed. Do the world a huge favor and get professional help. All right? Just get professional help. Get yourself checked in. All right?
Let me tell you the role of short men, because somebody asked what's wrong with being short. That, if you're short and you're male and you want to get females, you can't be violent.
Yeah.
You can't attempt to be manly. That just makes you look like you have Napoleon complex.
Okay.
What you can be is funny and super nice.
Tiny Tank Top Tim, she's speaking directly to you.
Yeah, you can be funny and super nice, but the minute that you try and be all manly, we don't read you as manly because
right, Q Dog.
You're just as tall as we are. It's you're not manly, and that's not going to work for you. So abandon the manly and go for the funny, or
you hear that?
Kind,
Thank you.
Super kind.
Tell them, Jim.
And you will get laid that way, but you're not going to get laid until you abandon the manly.
Thank you. Thank you. And what would you say is a height that you would say is short? Because they're playing games. A lot of these short people sometimes think they're tall. What would you say is a decent size for? I mean, if they're short, what did you say their height caps out at?
Like 5'8".
5'8". All right. So tiny tank top Tim. He I think 5'5", and he weighs about 192 pounds, I believe. And he drives a truck. It's not one of those big trucks though. It's a Toyota truck. He said, and it's not a brand new one. It's almost 10 years old. What would you say to a person like that? They need to be a little kinder. You're saying. And funny.
They can be funny, like he can make.
Well,
fun
he
of
looks
himself
funny.
for
He
all
looks
of that.
funny.
Like,
He
can make fun of himself for the stupid tank tops he wears. He can make fun of himself for the stupid car he drives. He can make fun of himself for being dumb enough to vote for Donald Trump. Like, there's a lot funny about that. So I mean, that's a whole comedy routine in and of itself, Zeus. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't even take work. It doesn't even take work. Like, he couldn't even go to interviews because when he went to interviews, they saw how short he was, so they hired him for online jobs.
I'm here to fix
your. We don't want you representing our business in person, but you can have an online job.
That's valid. That's positivity. You're a genius. Because when you started talking like that, I started imagining him going to a store to buy the tank tops and a whole garb, and I was just like, this is funny right here. This is funny. Because he really did do this.
Or they're really excited. They order on Amazon. They order these ice vests and this police patch, for the front, and their face covering, and they're thinking, I'm going to be a real man. I'm going to go out and wrestle people, and I'm going to be chasing down people, and I'm going to be, but if they knew that the immigrants were like going to fight back, there's no way that they would be doing that. But they go out and they're trying to be all manly, and in the meantime, they're thinking, this will get me laid finally, and it's totally wrong.
Totally It'll never happen. And you know what? I'm glad you let them know. All right, Poetivity, because I think he's gonna do some work over this weekend, and he's gonna think she does have a point, and he's probably going to change course. I hope so. All right. But listen, we got to move it on. All right. And if I don't check in with you, before the holiday, stay safe out there and happy 4th. All right.
All right. You have a great time. I love your show. I watch it as often as I can. I'm just pretty busy.
Well, I love you too. All right. And thank you for always being willing to come up and, check in with us and give us those updates and actually tell some jokes. All right. I really do appreciate it.
All right. Well, take care. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. You're totally welcome, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, wow, we have what an amazing show, ladies and gentlemen. You all deserve a huge, huge round of applause. Okay, I think this is Meredith now. I know I said I was going to get to you. All right, there you are. Good morning, Meredith. How are you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing okay, I guess.
All right.
I just want to send a message to all the MAGA, and I wanted to get up and talk to DJ yesterday. So, DJ, I don't know if you're retired. I really don't care at this point. You sit there and say that these cuts aren't happening. I've read the bill. The cuts are happening. In fact, I helped my friend Michelle send it to her mom because her mom doesn't believe this either, and she voted for Trump. And as soon as she read the bill, actually read what was in the bill, she had nothing left to reply. Why? Because the facts are the facts, and all you have to do is read the actual bill. I have been warned by my entire care team that these cuts could affect me. Now, I've also been told that in PA we don't have to worry about it, but I also just read an article where Josh Shapiro said over 300 and some thousand American or Pennsylvanians will lose Medicaid and over 100,000 will lose SNAP. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever struggled or even as a child wondered where their next meal will come from. I have. No child should ever have to face that. I'm going to put my camera on, which I haven't been doing because I'm not looking great because of all the steroids I'm on for my lungs. Because things are not good, which scares me even more. Okay? I'm the face of who you guys, and the reason I do this is so you know. Yeah. I'm the face. These people like myself, people like other creators we know, their family members, we're the ones suffering. I've already been told LIHEAP is cut off for next year for Pennsylvania. The funds are no longer there.
Wow.
These Medicare cuts, now I don't know if I'm right about this, and I was going to ask Val, and I haven't had a chance. From what I'm understanding in the bill, the Medicare cuts come to the prescriptions. My prescriptions have already freaking gone up. I make less than $1,200 a month on disability. And let's just be real about this. If this bill passes, anybody who's disabled, children, single mothers, we're all going to suffer. Illegal immigrants, I don't even like saying that. Undocumented immigrants are not getting these benefits. And anyone who's truly on these programs knows that, because we have to requalify every freaking 6 months.
How do you feel, Meredith, when you hear people talking about, you know, folks like you and saying things like, oh, there's waste, fraud, and abuse, and, you know, these people are able-bodied and they can get up and go to work. This is why we're cutting off these benefits. How does that make you feel?
Honestly, this is what I've been struggling with, and I cry every day about it, and I don't like crying. If I could go out and get a job, do you not think I would? I want to work more than anything. I sit in this house and I feel useless. I feel worthless because I can't contribute to how I want to, because I can't physically do it. I'm unaliving. And you all are okay with taking things away from people who are suffering. And why? Because the Republican Party and MAGA, they don't view us as valuable because we can't have a job and we can't pay taxes. So to them, we're disposable. We don't matter. And all that does is further instill what I already feel about myself because I can't work. And I'm going to clue you into something. I've done the research. Less than 1% of Medicaid is fraud in Medicaid. And it's done by providers. Because they charge for tests that are not necessary.
Wow.
Don't tell me disability isn't being touched. Because if you think they're not going to go after disability when they're cutting all these other programs, you are delusional. Social Security is next. There's a reason they want to make an autism list.
She's not lying. She's not lying. It's sick, Meredith, that you're sitting up here and you're explaining to people the truth, the reality, and yet and still they dig deeper into their commitment to the cult.
They have no humanity. No humanity. Here's the thing. You all want to sit there and say that it's not about this, that, or the third, right? That they won't come after you because you voted for this man. What are you going to do when there's no longer undocumented people for them to go after? There's no longer brown or black people because that's next. There's no longer disabled people because they're next. Like, catch a clue. They don't care about you if you are not working. And it's not so you can get rich, it's so they can get rich. Wake up, people. Wake up. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, Zeus, and I haven't been going on panels because it's exhausting.
You're fine. I don't want you to push yourself. If it's too much for you, don't do that, but like, you always have a voice.
I'm now looking down the barrel of all of my lung diseases have gotten worse in the last month since my hospitalization. Just found out one of my nodules grew. And I don't even know if I can qualify to get an appointment, just an appointment for lung transplants.
Wow.
And even with that, I'm wondering what the hell is the point if they're just going to take everything away from me?
That's something you really shouldn't have to even be worried about, especially, you're dealing with something very great, very serious like this. And now it's like the Trump administration. They just don't care. They're inhumane and they don't mind if it's going to make your life even more stressful. It's the most un-American stuff I've ever heard in my life.
So the only thing I want to say in closing, I know MAGA thinks that we're worthless as disabled people. We're not worthless. We have families. Right. We have families who love us. We're still human beings. And I want to spend as much time with my nephews as I can. Amen. And y'all are voting for people who are cutting it even shorter because you don't give a crap. So MAGA, When it happens to you, I am with Nutty. I no longer have empathy. I no longer feel sorry for you because you wanted this and now it's on you. So you can suffer. You can suffer.
Wow. It breaks my heart to hear stuff, but you're right, Meredith. You're totally right. It breaks my heart that this is where we've arrived at as a country.
And I always appreciate you letting me come up and talk because I'm not as intelligent as like Val and Shay and all of those. I know things because I do research. Because you can't not do research and then claim you know facts. I do my research, but that's the only way. And I learn from Val and Shay and Nutty and everybody. I take the time to sink in the knowledge and go research it. Because being ignorant is not an excuse anymore.
Nope. Not when you have smartphones. That's what I say, right? You have a smartphone, but you're not smart.
But I want to speak to the human perspective because I have a unique perspective because I'm the one suffering from it. And I don't speak for me because I already know what's going to happen to me. This is for people who come after me and for people who are still living. This is for other people who are disabled. This is for kids who are disabled. This is for kids in general. It's not for me. I know what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And while I'm not giving up, I am wondering why in the hell I fight anymore.
Well, because you love your country and you love your family, you love yourself. That's why. And people have called it out yet, Meredith, you are smart. So please, you don't need to minimize all of your contributions. I'm very honored to have you be able to get up here and stand shoulder to shoulder right alongside of you because this is truly something we all must do because we're not going to surrender. You don't want to surrender to MAGA, do you?
No, and I'm not going to.
Not at all.
And thank you all for the gifts.
Yeah.
Every little bit that and I've been called scammer, I've been called this, I've been called that. I don't do this for the gifts. Do they help me? Yeah, they do because you make $1,200. See what you can pay. That's what people don't understand. They think that people on disability get all this money. I get $1,200 a month.
Well,
do you not understand? We're not sitting here trying to beg for handouts. We're not sitting here trying to do any of this for any other reason other than we want to live. This ain't for nothing else. I don't fucking care. Guys, you don't have to gift me. You really don't.
Well, we're not, you just do you. All right, Meredith, you just say and be yourself. But if they want to show you some love, you got to let God do what he does because what we're doing is we're showing people that it's okay to have compassion and they can call it whatever they want to. But if I feel like giving and the spirit is on me, I'm going to do it. That's just the type of person that I am. All right. Because tomorrow honestly isn't promised. And I want to know that if there was a moment out there and I could do something to help, then I'm going to do it. That's just my mentality. So I know you got, I don't believe you're up here doing anything bad, to be honest. I think your information that you're bringing, your perspective is what is needed. All right.
I just want people to see, just be human. And this whole alligator Alcatraz, let's call it what it is. It's a concentration camp. How would you feel if they put your families and members in there just because they're a different color? And the beds for that are 3,000. They want to put 5,000 in there, and it's already flooding. Like, the humanity is gone, and I don't. Guys, I'm just...
That's why I say, Meredith, I think God's curse is going to be on this nation for quite a while, as long as this MAGA demon, I call it a MAGA demon, is on us. You don't build a concentration camp like that and think everything's going to be roses and daisies. It doesn't work.
I don't get it. I'm at a loss anymore, and honestly, I do my lives as often as I can. It's about the disabled community. People can come in. It's not just for disabled, but for all marginalized group because we're all suffering. but we're trying to do things that we can build a community and support each other.
Yeah.
Because right now it's what we need.
Yeah. Yeah.
People on the right side of history, we need to be a community and fight this. I won't curse because your mom's watching.
You know that.
We need to fight
Thank
this
you.
crap.
Yeah. Thank
We
you.
need to fight this crap.
Thank you. And we are. That's why I asked you, and you responded the way that I thought you, and actually better. Will we ever surrender to MAGA? And you reacted no. It's automatic. And so this is what we got. And Attacking says it quite a bit. We wouldn't be doing a lot of this stuff on TikTok if MAGA would simply be honest, right? And like you said, see the humanity and move accordingly. But because these folks they've sold themselves out to Donald Trump, just because you've done that, now you got this energy, and we're going to continue to resist it in ways that we feel are, they're going to be the most effective. I have my way. Meredith has her way. They have their way. It's not going to stop MAGA, but eventually, you will be held accountable.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, if you can do something, even if it's phone calls, I went to the protest for No King's Day. I can't do that again because just obviously, but make phone calls, do everything that you can do to fight this. And if I can do it, you all can do it. But I'm going to drop Zeus. I'm getting tired.
All right. Well, listen, you put up a good one today. You put a lot of numbers on the board. I want to go ahead and say W to Meredith. And everyone, please check Meredith out when she goes live. Great content, all right? Great content. And she speaks for a lot of people, all right? Seriously, all right? Thank you, Meredith, all right? Keep up the good work. You too, all right. Alrighty then. Oh, okay. I see you requested again. Jim, you wanted to say something again?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to Meredith. That's okay. She can hear me. The thing that we need to remind everybody is your voice is your fight. Your voice matters. And no matter the body we're in, whether it's disabilities or arthritis or illness, we still have a breath in our body, which gives us the ability to keep on fighting and to educate. In the words of Maya Angelou, when I learn, I teach. When I get, I give. And that's what you do every single day, Meredith, when you get on these lives, is that you teach others to fight also.
Thank you.
You make people have a face and a voice to hear, and you put out what is necessary for the world to hear, and that is part of your glory. Just make sure that you are following what the doctors tell you, that you're looking out for any foundations that can assist you, and that you are looking to, like the medical collective, the doctors on those panels, to guide you. There are huge, vast numbers of good people, science-based people on this app that can assist, and we need to make sure that we're directing people there. But we've got to stop believing that the vessel we're in, if it's not perfect, does not have value. You have value. Every single one of us has value. And it is important to understand that each and every day, that people like Stephen Hawking, who was captured in a body but had a mind that kept working until the last breath he took. We have the ability to support every person in this country. A first world country should never be looking at the cuts that we're looking at today. They should have been cutting from all of those Congress members. They should have been cutting from the military budget. They should be feeding every American child and assisting every American with health care. We have the ability. We need to take this country back in 2026 and 2028 and keep fighting with every voice, because it does matter. I love you all. Happy 4th.
All right, there you go. See, this is another example, ladies and gentlemen, of just the pure love that we have going on this show. Alrighty then. Let me bring up the beautiful Shay. Welcome, Shay. How are you doing, Shay? Oops. How did that go? How did that happen? All right. Oops. Where did you go, Shay? There you go. I'm so sorry. TikTok glitch. Are you there, Shay? Welcome to the show. I don't know. Is it not working? Interesting. I don't see you. It says invited, but let me try it again. Can you send me a request, Shay? Uh-oh. I think TikTok is glitching up or something. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me? I seen it. I did. Maybe you got to. Let me see if I can send it that. Okay, there you go. There you go. Hopefully it works.
Oh, that was a little wild.
Yeah.
Hey,
All
good
right.
morning, my friend.
Good morning. How are you? How are you?
I am great. So, you know, the only thing that I can think of, just to kind of, you guys have been saying it, and it's so true, that, whether none of us are happy about this bill. We see for what it is, right? And maybe it's bad to think of it this way, but I'm kind of like, great, let's really show everybody what the Republican Party is about versus the Democratic Party. You guys want to spend things on, social issues, right? Or,
Yeah.
The got yous. Oh, biological men in sports and in the bathrooms. And, you get into all this, this stuff that really doesn't affect your life, right? The fear mongering, the fake outrages, and that's what feeds your base, right?
Yeah.
And we sit over here going, but this is what makes the world tick, and this is what's happening. So I wanted to play a little bit of a game. Can everyone just put what state you live in? Just put the state, and I'm going to give you the numbers of the amount of people that are losing their health care. Starting on July 4th, because he's going to have a whole ceremony. All right, so we got Michigan. Michigan is going to 453,101 people are going to be kicked off of health insurance. Give me another one.
Oklahoma.
Kentucky.
What about Oklahoma too? I want to hear Oklahoma.
You want to hear Oklahoma? All right. Kentucky, 184,526 for Kentucky. Let's go Oklahoma. Let's go 211,794 people will lose their insurance in Oklahoma. Alabama, that's a good one. 219,803. Georgia, we got, let's see, Georgia, where are you, Georgia? Why is this not in numerical order? That would help me a lot if it was.
Yeah.
Oh, was Georgia exempt? Oh, no, there it is. 651,540 in Georgia alone. Oh, yeah, let's look at Florida. That's a good one.
Wow.
You ready for Florida?
Yeah.
Get this. With alligator. Okay, all right. Are you ready? Holy mess. 1,936,421.
That's almost 2 million.
2 million. That's 2 million. Texas, by the way, Jimmy, is 1.6 million.
Wow.
Yeah. California, 2.3 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Virginia, we'll just do a couple more. I don't want to take up too much time. 322,980.
They voted for this. I don't want to hear the crocodile tears.
West Virginia, good one. 82,000. 325,000. All right, so you guys get the point, right? So
it would be better if it was the other way. That many people got covered, but when you go this way, they're losing coverage. That's crazy.
So let's just think about this. Just put your head. Just think about this. When people lose their health care and fall and break their leg, what then happens? Do they just
you gotta pray.
not
You pray.
go
You go to church and
fixed?
ask the pastor. You ask your pastor to pray for your leg.
Get people around you and pray for you. Yeah, that'll heal you up. Y'all remember I took a horrible fall almost 2 years ago. I had surgery, got a lot of metal in the bottom of my leg. I mean, when things like this happen, how does that affect your community around you, your hospitals, the staff?
These people are sick.
This is going to cause, already Nebraska, there was a clinic in Nebraska that announced they're closing, knowing this is coming. So all of these healthcare clinics are going to be closing in rural areas specifically. But even for me in Houston, what about our big hospitals? I mean, they're already being burdened. Anybody in the healthcare industry here, you've got to know this is going to hurt. Because what are we going to do? Throw them on the side of the road? I mean, Healthcare is so expensive already, even when you have insurance. The amount of money some people have as high as like $7,000 deductibles. They got to still pay out of pocket $7,000 before they can even use their benefits. I mean, how do you afford that?
Wow. Yeah.
So
I mean, because a lot of
this
these
is
people, you know, I know somebody on TikTok. They capped out at combined income $50,000 a year, and they don't. And you can just tell you got a couple of kids and two adults bringing in $50,000 a year in the state. That, you know, inflation is through the roof. If they end up with a medical bill, what could that do to them? Because, you know, going to the doctor isn't a cheap thing, but what would happen to somebody if something unplanned were to happen to them medically wise, and they go in and they thought, oh well, you know, Obama passed Obamacare, right? So I got that, or the Affordable Care Act, and now Trump, you combine that with Donald Trump's big beautiful bill, doesn't that mean I'm actually more covered?
Yeah.
Right? It's called the big beautiful bill, plus you add that to Obamacare, doesn't that mean more coverage?
It should, but it doesn't. And that's the sad thing. And nursing homes. Thank you. All of you in here. What about nursing homes? What about dialysis centers? All of this. Like, just break it down and think about that. So those of you you're going to take care of your parents in your home? Can you afford it? Can you afford to hire nurses to come in and help you take care of your parents because you have to go to work? You're not thinking about all of this. You're not. It's because they lied to you and said that this is because illegals. Because people are just getting it and refusing to work. Okay, that's 1% of the fraud. So then find the fraud and address it. We were all say address the fraud.
Sort of like the fraud that they said Elon found. Remember all that waste, fraud, and abuse? Did they ever find anyone committing fraud and put them in prison?
No, we've never seen the evidence. Supposedly Pam Bondi's got a whole list of people and they're going to be prosecuting. I'm okay, waiting for that.
Wow.
Waiting and waiting and waiting. You know, but I just sit here and go, guys, we've been trying to tell you that all of this rhetoric has to do with white supremacy. You had Laura Loomer. Did you see what she said on X?
The 65 million alligators will have, yeah. Could you at least elaborate on it a little bit?
Yeah, so what's the population of Latinos in America? Anybody want to know that number and where she came up with that? 65 million are Latinos in America. 65 million. That's where she came up with that.
Yeah.
So she literally said in a post that, alligators can have 65 million meals if we start right now.
So that, you didn't say those are just people that are Latino that voted for the Democrats. She said all Latinos.
All Latinos.
So that would include the Trump voters, the Latinos for Trump as well?
Yes.
And
Donald Trump.
And so she's saying they should be fed to the alligators as well.
100%. Do you see what's going on here? We've been trying to tell you. I know you guys sit here and go, guys are lying, you're fear-mongering, you're ridiculous, you're hysterical. We're not. They're saying it out loud, people. Like, I don't know how we're going to wake you up. I don't know.
I got to play it.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
I got to play it. This is what you voted for Donald Trump, who's literally, you got people in the party saying, now feed them to these alligators now. That's what she's saying. Feed them to the alligators. But I voted for Trump. I know. Now go let the alligator eat you. We're done with you.
Yes,
and they still support this guy.
So I love it because, you know, our favorite bear, you know, she claims to be half Mexican. I wonder if she wants to be eaten by an alligator. Just wonder.
Oh, that's a good one. W. Shea. Now, why didn't I think of that? Because she says she is, right? So, so Laura Loomer is talking about her, huh?
Right, and I believe her. I've seen the picture of her beautiful mother that is Mexican. She's
okay. Yeah, well then she could be a part of the alligator meal plan then perhaps. Yeah. And I'm for that. W. Shea. Feed them. Goodbye. She says if anything happens to me, it's Zeus. No. If anything happens to you, it's the alligator.
I'm just saying, these people that voted for this and all of this, I'm like, okay, that includes you, by the way. Like, are you okay with this? It's my question. I don't want anything to hurt. I don't want her to be hurt. I don't care. She's live her life. I don't want anyone to get hurt.
Well, I don't want anything bad, but I'll say this: she might want to stay away from alligators.
Stay away from the coast.
Yeah, stay away because because they're trying to push her into that. And that's Laura Loomer's statement. I did read the post from Laura Loomer, and I'm glad that you made it clear to everybody that she's not saying only the Democrat Latinos. It's all Latinos, including the Trump supporters. She's saying that the alligators need to eat them.
Not the illegals, not the criminals. It's all of them. Right?
Yeah. This is a sad situation we're in as a country. You would have thought we would have been in a better space, a better place, because we would have listened to our better angels. But nope, it's not happening. It seems like America's going down a dark and dangerous path. And once again, it's because these cult members.
They've been talking about it. You remember when Tucker Carlson did the whole thing about replacement theory on Fox? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
We talked about it. We said, look, guys, they're saying it out loud about replacement theories. And now they're going around and they're sitting here and you see all this anti-feminism stuff, like that guy Frizz that wants to talk with Democrats hate women. You hear about Charlie Kirk and Candace so-and-so, but women live to have babies. They want families. This is what women want. That's the only way they're going to be happy. They think they're going to be happy by having a job and having a career and all of that. They're not. They're missing out on having families. There's been this whole push about, birth rates, and you see Elon Musk, who has 14 kids because he inseminates people all over the place. He thinks that's his job, right?
Wow, he does.
This is the sickening of this, but yet we don't have choices in our health care and any of that. But you guys are okay knocking millions of Americans off of Medicaid, but yet you want to force a woman who has no money, no job, no prospects, is young to have a baby. You guys make no sense. You're just off in left field. You just are forcing people in because you feel that's wrong. Well, then don't have one. That's your feelings. I don't care how you feel about it. Nobody cares how you feel about it. It's just, but we're the snowflakes, right? We're all in our fields all the time, right?
So they say, but right now the big beautiful.
I just feel like it's wrong,
Let me ask you a question because we're running kind of low on time, but I wanted to ask: have you ever heard any Democrats making videos saying "I regret my vote for Kamala Harris"?
No, not at all. In fact, there's going to be several. Like I'm not going to talk about him, but they're going to sit here and go, "Why am I so angry at the Democratic Party when they didn't do this? We didn't do this. Why are you mad at us? Why are you mad at people in the party when we are absolutely fighting on a daily basis to protect people and abortion rights and all of that? Like, I don't even understand the anger pointing.
They're angry because
I don't get it. I know you're mad that we lost the election. I get that, but come on, your anger's in the wrong area, dude.
Yeah, you can't. You can't be mad at people trying to do the right thing. It just doesn't work like that. So we're going to keep moving and doing what we're doing. But best.
We're going to keep teaching, my friend. We're just going to keep showing them, and that's all we can do.
There you go. All right. Well, listen, Shay, we're going to move it along.
You guys in the kingdom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give the beautiful Shay a huge round of applause. We'll do one more, and Big Zeus has to wrap things up. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and it wouldn't be a day if we didn't get to hear from my brother Q Dog. Oh my goodness. Good morning, Q Dog. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Zeus? How you doing, bro?
All right. What's going on, Champ? How are you up? What are you up to?
Oh, just listening to the kingdom and listening to all the MAGAs cry and boo-hoo on a daily basis.
The crocodile tears.
Crocodile tears.
How do you feel about the crocodile tears? I didn't ask you that.
I could give two crocodile tears how they feel, how they boo-hoo, how they cry, because we told y'all, lame brains, last year this was going to happen. And y'all kept denying it. Y'all kept saying, oh, it's fear-mongering. And what do y'all think about it now? Y'all the ones in fear now. because it's affecting you. It's at your doorstep. We told you this was going to happen.
Bingo.
But y'all kept on with that BS rhetoric. Talking about we're lying. Janae.
Oh.
Wow, man. Tiny Tank Top Tim. Dane. And a plethora of others that just keep saying it and still are in denial today, thinking that things are going to change for the betterment of themselves. You're on the chopping block. And your time is coming. I mean, Tiny Tank Top Tim, his time then came.
When you say they're on the chopping block, let's put a little address on it. We're not suggesting that we're going to do anything. I think what you're saying is Donald Trump is going to take them out.
Donald Trump has already put it in plan and in motion. They think they're on the boat as a passenger. No, you on the boat as a victim of this whole situation. They feeding you all kinds of lobster and shrimp and whatnot, and getting you all juicy and fat. Tiny Tank Top Tim. That's why your shirts don't fit. And guess what? They getting ready to drop you in that lake of alligators.
That's
ready to devour you.
So you just made me think of something. You know how he was talking about the sharks and the batteries? It's starting to make a little bit more sense now, because he said he would rather get electrocuted. So, we do the lake of fire, and then now there's the alligator lake. And what you're saying is Trump is going to... the lake of fire is honestly the best way for him to go out. But what you're saying, what Trump is going to do is the alligators. Imagine that. Because have you ever seen an alligator do what it does?
Oh, yeah. Twist and turn and rip you apart. And what you don't realize is that's what Trump is doing very slowly with all these mandates and all these executive orders.
Ooh, I like how you did that. WQ dog, I like how you did that, bro. You did something incredible. He did that.
Yeah, you think you're not on the dinner table and on the menu for the feast. You think you just serving it to us. Nah, you gonna be the ones that's on the dinner table. And them alligators gonna rip y'all apart. So keep on thinking that your Medicaid is not gonna be affected. Your jobs are not gonna be affected. You hearing it in real time. These folks are telling you we're losing our jobs, but we still vote. We don't regret our vote. How loose in the brain can you be? Does it take, seriously, somebody coming at you with a loaded locomotive train and you still standing on the train tracks as if it's going to bypass you? Like, seriously, Tiny Tank Top Tim, stop coming up here. Stop it. Because every time you come up here, you have nothing to say. All you have to do is complain about how we're telling the truth because your brain doesn't function good enough in order to acknowledge the truth or exert the truth to ever.
It's really, you ever seen two dead batteries trying to light a flashlight?
Exactly.
It's worse than that.
On the head. You hit the nail on the head, brother. We keep trying to tell you, but you keep hitting yourself in the head with that hammer, thinking that it's going to change in your direction.
You made me think of a cartoon when they do that on the cartoon, because you see Wile E. Coyote do things and the Roadrunner outsmarts him. He has the hammer in his head and then he just goes, boom, crashed out himself. Yeah.
Oh, man. That is the perfect example. But we gonna put Tiny Tank Top Tim in the category with Elmer Fudd. He think he gonna catch Bugs Bunny with that messed up and get duped every time.
Well, I got to go back and watch these cartoons now because when you put it in there and you're like, these are Trump supporters, it's even funnier. WQ dog. And you know what's so funny? We didn't even have to talk to one Trump supporter today to get our laughs in, did we?
No, not. I seen somebody in the chat say Looney Tunes. This is real life Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like Warner Brothers at its best.
Yeah.
Y'all folks here, boy, y'all give me comedy every day. Y'all come up here and open your mouth. DJ, oh my God. when you asked it yesterday, I was cracking up. When Takesha kept asking DJ, and he was so you think so is what you're saying? Boy, he is a lifetime comedy.
Yeah,
it's a lifetime comedy. We're gonna put him. This is gonna be the 2025 K Looney Tunes. I'm serious.
It is, because a lot of this is self-inflicted. I went through, whether we're talking immigration and the deportations, Trump supporters are regretting their vote. Whether we're talking Trump's tariffs, right? They're regretting their votes. Whether it's waste, fraud, and abuse, they regret their votes. If you're a farmer, you regret your vote. Every category of Trump supporter out there, they regret. Folks in there are now starting to regret their vote, and you're going, and this is all self-inflicted. Yes, you mean that you had the hammer in your hand? Yes, and what did you do? Boop, crashed out right there. You can't make this stuff up, folks.
The funniest thing that I just never could understand. You got over $1 billion being put into the system by undocumented immigrants, and you chop off your feet. Oh, we want to get rid of the immigrants. Oh, well, what happened to the money that we're going to get from the undocumented? They're not getting anything out of it.
No.
So you might as well. I mean, come on. I give y'all my Cash App and my bank account. If y'all want to throw away y'all money like that, go ahead, just give it.
Just give it to Q Dog at this point, because you don't need it. You're right, Q Dog. You folks. And so what we're gonna do, because we gotta wrap it up, bro. But you're right, and I just want to say good luck to you. I mean, if you're celebrating the 4th of July, have fun, be safe, whatever you're doing. All right.
I don't do anything about no 4th of July because it's not for us.
All right, there you go. Stay black.
As just another day that we gonna keep fighting MAGA and Blagger.
Yeah.
And watch them in their demise day by day, minute by minute.
It's truly self-destruction at its highest level. But yeah, I completely agree. But as always, brother, thank you. All right, and I gotta get on out of here. But ladies and gentlemen, let's give Q Dog a huge round of applause. Ladies, calm down, because I know that y'all here listening to Q Dog's voice. But remember, there's only one Triple H, and that's me, Big Zeus.
Hey, but you know what? You got that going, like I always say. I'll be the sexiest, you to be the most handsome. We got this on the double team like Kobe and Shaq.
All right. Fair enough. You can add that, because that comes with a lot of stuff too. That's a lot of work being that. But when you're Triple H, it's definitely even more difficult. But yeah, you stick to doing that, and Nutty, he can have what's left. Nutty can have what's left. All right. Fair enough.
Brother, salute to you.
All right.
And as always, I love you, brother.
Love you too.
What we doing, and we gonna keep this train moving. No matter if MAGA tries to jump on it, like in Rosewood, they try to jump on the train to go to freedom. No. Keep it moving.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen. Oh my goodness, we've made it to quite a point in the show. You all deserve a huge round of applause. So sorry I didn't get to bring up all the people who requested but it's we tried our best. I'm going to also give a thank you to all of you in the audience. All right, thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. All right, one of the best shows on TikTok, where you hear from everybody from all walks of life. But right now we're not hearing from MAGA, because they know they're in deep trouble. And so that leads me to the last part, where I got to give out my last round of booze and shame. I'm going to give this last round of booze and shame to the Zeus haters out there. And they know exactly who they are. These are the people who voted for Donald Trump, and now they're catching hell. They've been catching hell ever since he got in the Oval Office and started just backtracking on all the campaign promises, right? I want you all to understand something. You don't got to come onto my platform and talk to me. You could go argue and debate with other folks. I don't even need it anymore. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be laser focused on these crocodile tears stories that y'all are doing, because those are the stories that I think really do the world some justice, which is it's Donald Trump causing you all to suffer like you've never suffered before. But, so as you're suffering, I want you to think the whole time while your families are being torn apart, you're losing your jobs, your bank account's going down the drain. It's going down the drain really bad. Just say to yourself while it's happening, at least it's being done by Donald Trump and not a Democrat. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, let's send him to hell one last time.
Silence, you MAGA daily.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care and stay safe. Have a wonderful holiday break. All right, we are out of here. And if you celebrate the 4th of July, be safe, all right? Don't be playing with the fire like that, all right? We're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great rest of your morning. Another show for the history books. We gotta connect the dots, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe. Eat healthy. We're gonna be okay, ladies and gentlemen. We're only in the first quarter. All right, and Trump is gonna have victories. All right, so we're gonna bounce back. We're gonna have one heck of a fourth quarter. Trust me. Let's go. Let's go. W Sydney, W Maribel, RC, Judy. Let's go. Great work, brother. Let's go. Hakeem Jeffries. He's been speaking for 6 hours. Wow. Good job. We know that eventually it's going to pass, but we're not going to let him get an easy W. All right, we're going to do some drill. Drill, baby, drill, and then we are out of here. W Scorpion. We're going to do some drill, baby, drill, and then we're out of here.
Because she's gonna ban fracking, right? 100%. Then she was against fracking, against all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year and a half ago, when she was getting killed in the polls, she said, "I like fracking very much." Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it.
Thank you, bro.
She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're gonna end that, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill.
We took drill, baby, drill from Donald Trump.
Drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling so deep. We're going to be drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay down our debt.
Pennsylvania Ave.
We're going to lower your taxes.
You're right, Heaven.
Insane asylums. They go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter.
Here it goes.
Drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack. There's a frack. There's a baby, there's a lots of bigger energy. She's gonna bang it. Up in there, she was against stacking against all stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all the stuff. Years a half ago, when she was getting killed in the past, she said, "I like fracking very much." Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left. She can't help it. And we're gonna end that, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill, baby, drill.
drunk that I be drilling so deep. We're gonna so deep. Let's go. We're gonna drill. We're gonna take out so much money. We're gonna pay back. We're gonna run taxes deep. Insane asylum. Let's go. They go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. Get it. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna frack. Drill, baby, drill. Like it's Hannibal Lecter. Tell baby, drill. We're gonna drill. Baby, drill. We're gonna drill like it's Hannibal Lecter. Tell baby, drill. We're gonna drill. Baby, drill. We're gonna drill like it's Hannibal Lecter. Tell baby, drill. We're gonna drill. Baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter. Insane asylum.
All right. You know they go crazy when I say what?
The late great Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, really? They do?
They say, why would you mention Hannibal Lecter?
Yeah, why would you mention Hannibal Lecter?
We're gonna lower your taxes.
Oh, okay.
Deep insane asylums.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. Drill, 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 baby, drill, gonna drill, baby, drill like this.
It always gets me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say
the late great Hannibal.
Get it. Get it. Get it. Hey, hello. Hey, hello. Can you go? Hey, hello. Can you drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter time. We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say now how much money do you owe in your house? What? I'll take good care of that. Tiny tank top Tim Tom, he can't afford it. He can barely buy a Happy Meal. All right, because what I'm going to do, listen, we're going to pay off all your debt, and then we're going to lower your taxes, all right? And then guess what we're going to do? We're going to do a lot of that fracking and a lot of that drill, baby, drill. Because guess what? There's so much liquid gold underneath your feet. And all we gotta do is that, all right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. We are out of here.